This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Wednesday, October 23rd, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so like I said, we have another pretty long list coming into this morning. A lot of new stuff that's going on out there. First thing going to be looking at is CAT. So CAT obviously some earnings took a pretty big hit and then came coming pretty much right back. Now the one thing is that we haven't really got a great show of hand. You can see right here 133 had a couple prints really early this morning, right before 8 a.m. And then a little bit of new buying, but there really just has not been much that's coming into it at all. Overall moves $2.62 on average, so we could definitely expect a lot more than that already at 804,000 shares for the morning so far. But overall, I mean, it's certainly going to give a better show of hand than we have so far. But there's a little bit of buying. We just need to see definitely a lot more to come back in for it to really be able to hold back up here and not come right back down towards that 125 level where we originally saw that move towards the downside. Next thing looking at is Snap, and I hate putting Snap on my list, but you know what? On average, 65 cents. This isn't going to be a huge mover, but we definitely know that we're going to see it move more than an average 65 cents. 4.3 million shares being traded already. The only thing is that with this much volume that's coming into it, it's going to be a harder read. You can see at this 14 level, we definitely had some selling coming into it. There's cover. It's a little bit mixed. I mean, overall, certainly more selling at around that 14 level than there is buying. But once again, it's going to be a little bit hard to get that definitive show of hand to come in because this isn't going to be, like I said, a huge mover. Next thing looking at is IRBT. So iRobots, we can see took a huge hit. Huge hit. I mean, from 55 down to 44, you're talking about, almost $11 towards that downside. But we're starting to come back up. The only thing is that this is another one where we really haven't got a great show of hand coming into the morning. And from the amount that it fell down yesterday in the aftermarket, I would have expected some bigger prints to come in this morning. Orders aren't great, but they're not really that thin either. We're getting some some decent 1,000-share orders popping up out there. So like I said, there's no reason for it to not be printing more. It definitely has the opportunity to, but already 448,000 shares, 233 average range. Normal range. So coming up at that 45 level, we know is not going to be the easiest level to really decipher. But at the same time, it hasn't really given us much. But once we get that show of hand to come back in, we're going to be expecting a real big range in here as well. And that's pretty much, we have this big list. I just really haven't got, the best show of hand coming on out there yet. Now, RESI, REZI, this is going to be towards the bottom of my list, but you can see taking a very big hit. Yesterday in the aftermarket, really the start of this hit was really not on much at all. But, once again, coming down towards that 9 level, there's really not much that it showed. You have one aspirin, an aspirin that came in. There's just not really much there yet. So another one where we really need to see a better show of hand, but on average trades 58 cents. We should definitely expect a lot more than that. I mean, its average volume is usually 829,000 shares, already at 604,000. So going to be expecting a lot more. We just need to see something coming into it, but it has all the variables for us to be looking at, as well as you're able to short it. Next thing looking at is TXN. So TXN, another one, took a pretty big hit coming into the aftermarket yesterday, all the way down to underneath that 115 level, about 114.50. But another one where it's just hasn't given us anything great yet. You can see coming into the morning prints, 116, you have one bid print, you have one aspirin, 119. So it's another one where we're going to be expecting a lot bigger of a move than $2.54, but we need to see something come into it. It's just, we have all these stocks with great variables. We just need to get that definitive show of hand to come in. Next one looking at is Now, NOW. Now, this is a lot more expensive, but at least it's shown us something. So if we come over here, you can see there's pretty much been nothing but selling. 211, you had those two aspirins that came back in, but overall you could see 210 right here and then 215. We have a pretty decent show of hand on the bid side at 215, and then obviously at 210 we're going to be expecting it to pop back up. I would have expected more than basically $2.25 though towards that upside. You can see there's a big resistance from yesterday when it was coming up in the aftermarket, and it came back down, but still based off the prints at 215, and just look at what happened. So we had those three prints come in at at 210. Okay, and from 210 it moved all the way up to that, to 217.50. So I would have expected, like I said, more towards that upside, right around that 220 area, maybe a false breakout above this 217.50 to then then give us a trigger back towards that downside and really satisfy those 210 bid prints coming in. And then a side list, NNDM. So NNDM it's on the side list just because of the way that it kind of breaks it down. And the big reason why it's on my side list is if you look, there just isn't, it's moving a lot on really not any type of bigger prints. So just once again, just kind of makes it harder to read. So, a lot of feel goes into this. That's the reason that we're going to be sitting on the side list. But we have this double top that's coming right here. We have some pretty decent buying that came into that, and based off of that's the biggest burst of bigger prints that I've seen come into this thing all morning. So really based off of that, should it be able to get to 5? Not really, but based off of what it's moved on, this is a lot more. So you know what? It certainly has that buying. The only thing with these cheaper stocks, remember we talked about, we want to see that pullback and then to come back up and have buying. If we want a price target of 5, we need buying for 550, and we just do not have that yet. So overall, lots of stuff to look at. We're just waiting really for the definitive show of hand to pop in there and really give us which one is going to be our highest probability. Now, anything else out there that I missed? So BA, looking at, obviously it's on one of the top volumes this morning. The only thing is just the price. I mean, it's the same thing as we talked about yesterday. It's a great stock. It's just very, very expensive. A lot of buying power there, but absolutely. I mean, it definitely, one of the better show of hands that we have out there this morning. All right, guys. So remember, we have a long list, and it's the same thing as yesterday. Let's focus on, the ones that have the best variables out there, and then what we're looking for is just that definitive show of hand, and then we'll execute from there. Let's make sure we focus on our weaknesses. Our post-it notes. Let's go over what's going to help us the most today for our trading today, and then work down from there. All right, guys. Other than that, I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.